Right, la creation kit est ici. Bonjour. Voici le creation kit. And now, I don't know why I'm speaking in the French accent. We're getting rid of the French accent. First order of the day then will be to condition Lucien's training dialogue to only be available when he is not sneaking. So that's quite easy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find the specific line for trading. Trading? Not trading, training. Which is training, let's train. I'd like to, here we are. So these 3 lines, I would like them not to be valid when Lucien is sneaking. So I'm going to do, add a condition, is sneaking. And I'm going to set this to 0. And I'm going to copy that condition and I'm going to paste it. Bear in mind, of course, with is sneaking, it should never be your first condition on a line. Now, all these lines actually have other conditions on them already from the quest data tab. There are general conditions. There's just one general condition, get his ID, that applies to every line in the quest. So that's fine and it sorts it out. But you need to make sure if you don't have something like that, at the top of the first condition in your stack should never be is sneaking, because it will cause your game to crash whenever the player talks to a talking activator, which cannot sneak. And that's quite a difficult bug to narrow down if you don't know what's causing it. So do just always make sure is sneaking is not the first condition in a stack. So that now should sort Mr. Video Freak's problem. It will no longer be possible now to ask Lucien to train when he is sneaking. Which is good, because obviously I'm not going to record whispered versions of all the training scenes. That doesn't make sense. So that is that sorted. Hit save. Mission 1 accomplished. First question is very simple. What do I think about X? A couple of stages in Quest. This is from Dwemacog. This is Dwemacog's question. I have a couple of stages in Quest that currently use the utility.wait function. I've heard that this is not best practice and that I should instead create a spell that fires after a dialogue with a countdown and have the next thing happen after the countdown is finished. I think this is advised because some people use things that change how time passes in game and it can mess up your stages if time passes differently or something. What are your thoughts on utility.wait function? Well, my first question is, what exactly are you using it for? Because I use utility.wait and I use it for very short pauses. Very short delays, so when I want to literally wait a couple of seconds before something, or play a scene after a short wait or whatever, then I will use that. And that's fine. But it depends what you're using it for. I would never use utility.wait, for instance, to detect when, say, 3 in-game days or something have passed, because that's not how it operates. Utility.wait means your code will carry on down until it gets to that line of the code, and that's where it'll wait. But yeah, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Yo, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I really, really, really want to release a popular mod, to get into the hot files on the Nexus. No, so yeah, you're using it for quest stages, but it's mostly like wait 3 days before the next topic appears, or the next quest stage occurs months later. No, don't use it for that. Use it only for short few second pauses in a script. What you want to do instead, Dwemacog, for that, is if you want to wait 3 days before the next topic appears, then here's what I do. So, let me see, let's do after his personal quest, when Lucien's first personal quest is finished, which is JR Lucien Personal 1. When that's done, after you've defeated the final boss, I want 3 days later, after Lucien, and this is spoilers for the personal quest, by the way, for those of you who haven't played it, but I'm assuming most of you have. When you've completed Lucien's first personal quest and he leaves your service, I then want 3 days after that, a letter to be dispatched to the player, inviting them back to Doomspathar again. So the way I achieve that is I have a global variable called JR Lucien Doomspathar Ready Time. And I set the value for that variable to being the current game time dot get value plus 3. Right? So now I have a new variable which is 3 days after, because it's current game time is measured in days. So plus 3 now has a variable which is 3 days on from whenever this script ran, whenever the quest was completed. So I've also done register for single update game time 72, and I'll be honest, I can't remember why I've done that. So let me just have a look at what I've done. Register for single update. Right. And I've added an event for on-game update. Ah, right. That's what I've done. Okay. So I've said after 72 in-game hours have passed, run this event and check what the stage is and set the stage to 900. And if I do that, then that dispatches the courier. Good. But what we also have is the dialogue for when you return to Doomswithar rejoin, where I now have a condition check, and this is what you really want here. Get global value, game days passed. So this is the global value, which tells you this is exactly what Mr. Video Freak is talking about. Game days passed is your global variable for tracking the player's game time. And when that is greater than this global variable that we set, we know 3 days has passed, and therefore this dialog option is now available. So I would recommend doing this. Set your global variable to the game time plus 3, and then condition a get global value using this use global checkbox here to compare with the value there. And press OK. Mr. Video Freak says, okay, right, you're saying, isn't there a playtime stat for one save? So it's game playtime instead of in-game time. Oh, I see. Right, actually, how many hours they've been playing for. I've no idea. Not that I've seen. I don't think there's a global value for that. Game days passed is the only one to track the amount of time that's played. I'm not aware of there being a global variable which tracks how long you've been playing for. But I don't know everything about modding. You may very well find one. So there you go. That's how that works. Glad you enjoy the behind-the-scenes stuff. I hope it's useful for some people who are interested in making mods and interesting for the rest of you who aren't fast. Right, Mr. Video Freak, you must not use current follower faction for Inigo. Inigo does not go in the current follower faction. He has a different, on his custom follower framework, Inigo is never added to the current follower faction. He instead uses the get active value waiting for player. And when Inigo's waiting for player active value is 0, he's recruited. And you'll have to check what other... You'll have to have a look in the CK yourself to see what the other values for it do. But yeah, that is how it checks. That's the only way you can check whether or not Inigo is recruited. You can't use current follower faction for him. I ran afoul of that myself when I first set out to try and do interactions with him. You also can't... you also need to fill the alias with a dummy... Oh no, you're doing this with a optional plugin ESP, aren't you? So with that case, you can fill the alias with Inigo. That should be fine. But I'm not sure why you can't record a line for that. You have to make sure your alias is filled before you can record a line. Make sure it's filled with a valid NPC and that the conditions are true. But in any case, yes, you can't use the get in current follower faction. Right, so, was there another question, Dwemacog? Feel free to fire away if you have more questions. Oh no, you should never use a custom follower framework on Lucien. No, never do that. Or on any clever follower, any follower on its own custom framework. You shouldn't ever try and use follower frameworks on him. No, what I'm talking about here is the faction, current follower faction, which standard followers are added to when they're recruited, and Lucien is added to when recruited, and many followers are added to, many modded followers are added to when recruited, but some, such as Kaiden and Inigo, don't use that faction, and it's actually because of that condition that Lucien, his Kaiden hello comments aren't working in the latest update. Again, even though I thought I fixed it, I accidentally reverted the fix. So that's another thing that will be in version 1.6.1. How do mods automatically detect when you have another mod/creation installed? It's fiddly. It's tricky. I can show you the script, and we're going to do a whole tutorial about this later on in my How to Make a Follower Mod tutorial series. But I have here a quest called JR Lucien Mod Handler. And if we go to scripts, quest aliases, and I have an alias for the player under JR Lucien mod handler. This is your question, a singular B. And here's the script, JR Lucien, JR mod checker. And I have an event on player load game, and when the player loads the game, first thing is the alias in here is forced to Lucien, if it wasn't already that. That shouldn't really matter. But, this is what this is a cheat. Sometimes there is a bug which causes followers to be dismissed for aliases to accidentally clear. It can happen sometimes. And what this is a little cheat here to say, if Lucien is meant to be recruited, but his alias is empty, then you should force it back to him. Don't worry too much about it. That's just the nature of thing. But anyway, the key thing I'm talking about here is the check all mods function here, which runs this big long function. And within this big long function, this is the function that's checking to see which mods are active that Lucien can interact with. And within it, I have this mini function called mod check. So for Inigo alias, Ori alias, Celia alias, Hoth alias, etc. And within mod check, I use this function get form from file. This is your key function for checking if another mod is installed without creating a dependency on that other mod. So what you can do is you can fill this with a form ID and with the name of the file, and you can use that to extract the reference of anything in that other mod. So you then get a copy of that reference, which you can then save into your own variable. So here I save it into an alias. So I use this function to extract Inigo's reference ID from his ESP or any other follower, and I save it into a bespoke alias I've created for that follower. Now, I can't lie, this is an absolute pain. If you look at my script here, you can see it's quite fiddly, and I run into a lot of issues with this. There's a whole bunch of other sort of nuances of implementing it that can be very fiddly and can make it very frustrating. So I don't recommend doing this to any of you who aren't really comfortable with scripting and troubleshooting. If you know what you're doing with scripting and you're happy with it, give it a go. But I don't. If you will have a much easier time if you just make an ESP for it, because you can avoid this whole hassle, and it's just so much easier. And it's also limited in that this will only allow you to extract locations and NPCs, or rather, you can only save locations and NPCs into aliases. You can extract any record with get form from file. It'll work for anything, but you then have to. It's up to you. You have to figure out some way of saving that. And the benefit of saving it into an alias is that you can then use it in your dialogue conditions. You can't exactly, as Mr. Video Freak says. You can't put scripts on the condition functions. Condition functions are a separate thing. So you can't have a get form from file on the condition function. You have to refer to an alias. So this is my cheat to save that record into an alias that I can then check for in condition functions. But I can only do that with locations and NPCs. So quests, you can't do quest commentary without a patch unless you're very patient. Because you can't save, you can get the form, but you can't save that quest in such a way that you can condition based on it. You could run scripts regularly by polling or based on some other condition in order to check the current stage of a quest from another mod using get form from file, and then you could use that to set a global variable, and then you could condition based on that global variable, but it's extremely fiddly. Apologies to all of you who I completely lost with that, which might be all of you because I don't know how well I explained it. But basically, upshot is the limitations of get form from file and saving it into an alias is you can only use it for locations and NPCs. Anyway, there you go. That's how Lucien detects other mods automatically. Don't do it unless you're willing to endure mental pain. Bloodmime says, when do you think you may make a new video in the follower mod series? I don't want to be naggy, I'm just curious as to when you may continue that series. Regardless, I'm very grateful for what you've already put out. A few weeks' time? Hard to know exactly, my schedule's always a bit up in the air. But now I've finished Lucien version 1.6.0, I've got a bit more time. And this has been my priority for a really long time. So now that that's out of the way, I have more time for things like videos. So yeah, might crack on with that tutorial in a few weeks' time. I would definitely plan on continuing it. So yeah, it depends on how long and what time I have. But yeah. maybe towards the end of March. Right. That's that sorted. Now, question for those of you who have tried the new update. How are you finding it with, if you have Lucien recruited and you also have Inigo or another NPC recruited and you have Kaiden or Ori, are you still finding that those interactions trigger often enough? Or are you having problems with getting them to trigger? Because there's been some discussion on my mod page in the comments of people saying that the Kaiden interactions are not firing often enough. And the reason I believe that is as of the new update, people are trying out Inigo as well, and are running around with parties of 3s where they used to run around with parties of 2. And at the moment, the conditioning I have on the follower interactions checks that those followers are standing near to each other so that it looks right when they're talking to one another and they're not shouting at each other across a room. But of course, if you have more followers in your party, the chances are your followers are going to be more spread out. They're going to be standing further apart from one another because there are more of them to get in each other's way, which therefore reduces the probability of those scenes triggering. Now, if you like, I can increase the radius on Kaiden for interaction to make them more likely to trigger, if you want. But I wanted to check with you guys to see what you think. Are you, if any of you have tried it with Kaiden, are you finding those interactions aren't playing often enough for you? Are you having trouble getting them to trigger, or are you happy with it? Shadow Wolf says, I haven't had a single Kaiden or Ori interaction since I got Inigo, but they worked fine before Inigo. I narrowed my party down to try to trigger the Lucien Kaiden ones, since they've only introduced themselves. I got Inigo pretty quick after him. Okay, so I think what I'll do there then is crack on and increase that radius. Funnily enough, the Inigo radius is actually higher than it is for the others, so that might be, I can bring them up to be comparative to that. And that'll be a radius of 800 rather than 500. It may mean that they end up talking too much. We'll have to see. Okay, Bard. I have to be honest with you. The frequency won't have dropped. It may be that you're observing it's dropped. So something, I don't know what, you might have exhausted them and they're not, the ones that don't repeat aren't repeating. But I promise I haven't touched the probability of the Kaiden lines playing at all. I haven't actually touched those lines since I implemented them, really. So those probabilities will not have changed. But what can have changed is that you might have more followers running around. They might not be matching up for some reason. But the frequency can't have dropped. But yes, the thing that you notice about having them happening more often with a party of 2 than with a party of 3 will be the distance thing. So it'll be more likely to be standing sufficiently near one another in a party of 2. The philosophy line is fixed. Hey, Gurg of Destruction, you are very welcome. I'm really glad to hear that you enjoy my stuff. And yes, I will add legacy support at some point. Absolutely. Exactly. It's this duckling line that causes the problem. They space out. So I'm going to go through and bump up these radiuses. Radii. Obviously, if one of them's standing at the front of the single file line and one of them standing at the back, they're not going to talk to one another. Right, so at the moment, this is 500, which is a bit low, I think. So I might bump this up to 800, which brings it in line with Inigo. And I'll do this for all the interactions. Which will take us a little while. So the probability for the philosophy line has been massively reduced in the latest update, and it is now the rarest line Lucien has, I think. Or maybe the second rarest. Like, it is a very low chance of the philosophy line playing. You will still hear it, but, you know, I definitely heard you guys being unhappy with that. So don't worry. You're much less likely to hear it now. But it is, of course, still random. You know, so ultimately, it depends on the RNG gods. Why is this distance so low? This means that the Lucien Vigilance scene will only play at a really low when they're standing right next to each other. I'll bump that up. Just bump them all up. Now, these are the old Inigo lines that we don't use anymore. So we'll ignore all of those. This is a Hoth interaction. Right, Pencil Mystic says, I know you've said Lucien is safe to update in an ongoing save. What exactly would make a follower mod not safe to update? Also, and this is very specific, so feel free to skip it, but if it's really complicated, or skip it if it's really complicated or something, but would there be a way to allow a follower to wait in a specific place specified by the player? E.g. a healer character who has the option of waiting in temples while you're in cities with temples. Okay, I'll start with the first one because I understand that question better. What would make a follower not safe to update? Well, it depends on how much you know about follower mods to start with, about modding in general, but I'm going to assume a basic level of knowledge here that you know what a quest is. Within a quest, you have aliases. Now, these aliases are all the characters involved in that quest. Now, this is a big list of all the aliases in Lucien's quest. Now, I've created a bunch of them here for interactions I may do one day. A lot of them I haven't got around to doing yet, so you can see Marissi in here, and Mirai and Ambriel, a bunch of characters he doesn't yet interact with. But I have made aliases for them in case I should ever want to fill them in. Now, all my quests have these aliases, or the personal quest has these aliases. And you need to save an NPC into an alias to be able to use it in the quest for a particular thing. If you want it to be in a scene, it needs to be in an alias. If you want it to be a quest objective, it needs to be an alias. Now, these aliases fill with a particular thing. So they're like little storage containers, little buckets that you name, and you can fill them with a reference in the game. So here I have Doomswithar Vault reference, and I fill that with the Doomswithar Vault door. That's what I've put. So that's what goes in there. And each of these is filled with a particular thing. Now, these are filled on game load. When the game first loads up with the mod installed, all these aliases are filled in. And never again. So if I were to come along in version 1.7.0 and create a new alias, and try and tell that needs to fill, so a new alias, say, for the second vault door, and say that needs to fill with the second vault door, that would only fill for players who had never installed or never loaded the game with Lucien installed before. All the players who previously had Lucien installed would keep all these aliases being filled, but the new one would not fill until they start a new game. And that is where I would have to say, you guys need to start a new game to get this update, because the aliases wouldn't fill. There are other problems that can occur. This is the main one for follower mods. So when that's the case, you can get around it if you're fiddly with it. And I've got around... I designed the mod to avoid ever having to add aliases to existing quests. I try and just create a new quest. Because if you make a new quest, those aliases will fill. So it's fine. But in times when I have had to add new aliases to it, and I've had to do that in JR Lucien Personal 1 before... And I've had to do that in some other ones before as well. The Riding Quest, I think, maybe. Sorry, that's Recorder's one. I've had to add aliases to quests before. And when I've done that, I've added a little extra script that on game load checks if those aliases are empty. And if they are empty, it fills them. So it'll manually fill them in. If they haven't filled in properly, it'll manually fill them. And that helps me get around it. But ultimately, it's quests. If you basically, rule of thumb, if you're editing an existing quest, then that's probably not going to be compatible with a new save, unless you specifically make sure it is going to be and test it for it. So always create new quests rather than editing existing ones, and you'll generally be fine. That's the main bit of advice I can give, really, for making your mod be compatible with existing saves and not needing to be changed. Other things are things in the world space, objects you've placed into the world, edits you've made to the landscape and the nav mesh, etc. Sometimes those can become baked into save files, and also scripts. You've got to be very careful with scripts. If you have a script running in the background and you delete that, then you can orphan it, which means it'll still be in a player's existing game, but no longer referenced in your mod, so it's no longer attached to anything, so it's just running and running in the background, and it doesn't know what to do, and it'll keep returning errors in your papyrus log, and that's what can contribute to save game bloat when those build up, particularly if it's a script that creates new instances of itself, which you always need to be very careful with. And your second question was, would there be a way to allow a follower to wait in a specific place specified by the player? And I believe you've clarified underneath, you're talking about being able to have them split up, meet me in Whiterun Temple. So what you would have to do there is you'd have to create a travel package. So I've got some packages here. And here I've got run to horse. Right? So this is the package that runs when you get on your horse before Lucien's got on his horse, which tells him he needs to run towards his horse to get there as quickly as possible, because by default he'll just walk. So it'll make him run. And this is a travel package. It's not a travel package. This is an activate package. But the point is you can have a bunch of different types of packages following different templates. This is an activate package which tells the NPC to run toward, well, to go towards a target and activate it. And I can set the preferred speed run there. So that's fine. A travel package would be here. JR Lucien Doomswithar door travel. Where I have set travel package, so package template travel. Place to travel is a particular X marker in Doomswithar. And you have some other flags like ride horse if possible, and I've set that to no. And preferred path, which means they'll run along roads if there are roads there rather than going direct as the crow flies. Now, if you wanted your NPC to wait in a temple in Whiterun, then I would suggest putting one of these packages, a travel package, on your NPC, either through an alias or directly onto the NPC record, whatever works for you. Setting it above the existing follower packages, so it'll take priority over them if it's available. Set your place to travel to be the Whiterun Temple, and you'll need one of these for every temple you want them to be able to travel to. But you'd set the place to travel to be the Whiterun Temple. And then under conditions, you'd set something like maybe create a global variable and say that global variable has to be equal to 1. And then in your player dialogue, when you tell them, go and wait for me in Whiterun Temple, you'd have a script to say, set that global variable to 1, which would mean this travel package is now conditioned to be, available. It's now conditioned to be active, and that would mean the NPC would then go and do that and would run to the temple. And then you'd also want a wait package for when they've arrived in the temple, telling them to wait and probably sandbox. Yeah? Yeah, so Nuna, with the different options saying wait for me in such and such a city, with that one, I would suggest that you'd have a different package for each city, which will tell them to go there. I think that's probably, I can't think of a better way to do it than that. It's a slightly brute force method, but I can't think of a way off the top of my head that would allow it to run to any city, which would allow you to change it. That's not really the way packages work. You have to give them a specific target. So that's what I would say is probably happening in Anna NPCs, but you'd have to open it up and have a look yourself, and there's no reason you can't do this. Download Anna NPCs or any other mod, open it up in the CK, have a look yourself at what their implementation is, because there is no harm in studying someone else's mod. Could you make the condition something like is location Whiterun location equals 1? Yes, of course you could. Exactly. So what I'm saying is you could have one for each hold, maybe. Go and wait for me in the nearest, in this city's temple or something. You'd have one for each city or one for each hold. And you'd set the condition to be, depending on each city. So each travel package would have its own condition line to check that you're in the appropriate place for that. Got it? All good? Good. Awesome. Awesome sausage. Mazakin, I saw your comment saying thank you for making a follower who's so fun to draw. You are very welcome. I love seeing your drawings of Lucien. They're always amazing. You're very talented. Okay, what was I doing? I was changing those distances on the interactions. Bumping them up to 800. Yep, opening the mod up in STESV edit is also a great way of having a look. It's easier and harder. It can be harder in that you've got all your records presented in a sort of unuser-friendly list and you have to search through them. It's harder to find things sometimes, but it's much easier to not accidentally change something. You can be much more precise with Xedit, TESV edit, or SSE edit. And it loads up much faster than the creation kit does. Okay, so I was doing these distances from here. And on Old Rim, Arissa had you can go and do what you want when you're in a walled city, and she had a wandering around package that you could find either in a tavern at night or leave the city and she would run to catch up. Yeah, that's a fairly easy one. Again, you'd have one package for each city. And it would be a sandbox package. And you'd say it would be valid in only for that particular city and allow her to sandbox in the entire city or in a particular cell like a tavern or whatever, and have one at night for the tavern and one at day for another place where they would go. Hi Nix89, welcome to the stream. Just gonna rearrange those conditions while I'm here. Toss a coin to your hero, oh Valley of White Run, oh Valley of White Run, oh. So just for efficiency, your get is ID condition should always be top of your stack, which will save the game from having to evaluate these conditions on other NPCs, because it evaluates it from top to bottom. So this is the get is ID should always be the top, because that means you'll only ever bother evaluating the rest of the conditions when you're talking to this particular NPC. Just saves your game from doing unnecessary calculations. No, you've missed nothing, Nix. If you want to ask questions about 1.6, you are very welcome. Fire away. Hey, Cthulin, hope you're having a lovely day. What have you got for lunch? When a humble bard graced to ride along with Geralt of Rivia, along came the song. Ooh, what kind of smoothie? Could you go over your weight packages for being still and sandboxing? Sure, that's very straightforward. Let me show you. It's just a carbon copy of one package, but it's got two different versions, one that allows sandboxing and one that doesn't. Now, it may take me a second to find where that package is, because I can't remember where I put it. Right, I've got JR Lucien Relax package. Right, yes. So we've got our default follower package, which is JR Lucien player follower package. And that by default handles all the usual things like waiting, following, etc., etc. But here is the... Oh, I see, Nix, you're talking about that aspect. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that particular fun thing about version 1.6.0, the surprise thing, until Saturday. I'll be doing a proper announcement on Saturday telling everyone that's what happened. You know, telling everyone that that is in the game. But I'm just giving until the end of the week for people to be able to discover the surprise content in 1.6.0 themselves without me spoiling it. So I'll lift that embargo on Saturday, and then you guys will be very welcome to ask me all about that sort of thing. But feel free, you are able to ask about any other aspect of 1.6.0, sure, but not the surprise thing, because that's spoilery. Anyway, so this is Lucien's Relax package, and the condition on this is checking that you're not sneaking. And it says here, waiting for player equals 1. So that means this package is only available when Lucien is waiting. And I'm checking a global variable, which is JR Lucien Relax. So when you tell him, when relax when you're waiting is toggled on, this is 1. And when it's toggled off, this is 0. And this package is also only ever valid for Lucien. You don't actually need this get edit this ID condition. I could probably delete it, but I'm not going to mess with it. Because it's fine. It all works. But you don't need that line. But the point is, this is a sandbox package. Right? And location is near package start location. So it's within 1,000 units of wherever the NPC happens to be when they start this package. And I just allow everything. Energy is how often they'll move from one activity to another. Just leave it at 50. That's the default. It's fine. Flags allow hellos to player, allow reaction to player options, allow world interactions, allow idle chatter. That's pretty much it. It's very easy. So you just plop that sandbox package down, and when they're waiting for player value as 1, they'll start wandering around. And also, one to note is this allow wandering flag. So the difference between this being true or false is if this is true, it'll allow a valid activity for them to be to just wander over to a particular part of the room and stand there. Otherwise, if you turn that to false, they'll go from one object to another object, so from a chair to an enchanting table to another place, only ever moving when there's something else to interact with. Whereas if you allow wandering, they'll also just wander around a bit. To change the global variable back to a 0, do you just make the dialog trip fragment global name.setValue 0? Yes. Spot on. That's all you do. So set value to 1 and set value to 0. Yes, Nix. He does have lines for him being in a state of undress. And yes, by default, that's not possible to do. But you can do it with the console, or with mods, or with the Ring of Undressing from the Saints and Seducers interaction patch. From the Saints and Seducers Creation Club plugin. There are ways you can get characters to take their clothes off. But no, you're right. By default, he won't strip off for you. No. We just thought it would be fun to add some lines for if you were in that situation. So if you want them to just be still and not move at all, you don't need a special package for it. Just use the default. You know, if you follow my tutorial for how to make a follower mod like Lucien Flavius, then you get all your standard packages and you just a standard follower package, just standard wait. Just their standard wait for me thing will be fine. So if we go player dialogue here, JR Lucien follower wait. What does it do? Let's have a look. Get owning quest as Lucien controller dot follower wait. Lucien controller, edit source, follower wait. So this is the standard script that I talk you through in my tutorial series. And follower wait sets the value waiting for player to be 1. That's it. And if you set that to being 1 and you're on the follower packages that we've got here, you know, he will just stand, they'll just stand still until you pick them up again. So there you go. Do you have any follower management mods active to Emacog? Because they could be messing with it, causing them to wander around. Anyway, there we go. That's the lot. Right. I'm glad you like that, Cthulhan. That was fun to record. Right. Follower. Misc. Keep changing these distances. Look at all these I recorded, by the way. These are all the "that's quite fun to say" lines. So many. Right, okay. Where did I get to? Hoth the Tremendous, 800. Can you sing, Hoth? 800. Places like this, I'm glad to have you with us, Hoth. 800. And just by bumping up this distance, it should make them a little bit more likely to trigger when you're in a large party. Of course, it might mean that they end up sort of shouting these conversations at each other from a distance, but we'll have to just live with that. Onto the Anna NPCs ones here. Tonight the super trooper lights are gonna blind me, but I won't feel blue. Something. 'Cause somewhere in the crowd there's you. So I was saying on the Discord earlier, I am planning on doing some more YouTube videos. soon in the future. Because what I want to do is I want to showcase some of Lucien's features so that you guys can watch them back on YouTube if you ever want to without having a look in game. So one of the things I wanted to do was all his readable books. I wanted to do recordings of each of him reading each of the books so that you guys can listen to that if you want. I want to do his personal quests, sort of little walkthroughs showing you exactly what happens in those personal quests. Question though, with a walkthrough of Lucien's personal quest, what would you want from that? What do you guys prefer? Do you prefer it without commentary? Do you prefer just pure gameplay of just, would you want to be able to just watch the personal quest unfold? Or would you prefer a sort of game dev commentary of me talking you through it, saying what's going on? What works? What do you think is better for you? Bearing in mind, I probably don't want to do both. What sort of thing do you prefer for a video of the Doomspathar quest? Seems to be strong votes in favour of commentary. Not that I'm running a poll, but, you know, everyone so far likes the idea of having commentary. Okay. Commentary we can do. I mean, I guess I could do both. I could do one with no commentary and one with commentary. Question about the custom songs. If Lucien has a song about the player name, once it randomly fires, will we later be able to listen to ask him to sing it again? No, they're just random idols. He doesn't have a full... I haven't written a full version of Ragnar the Red for every individual name. No, that would be madness. It's just a random idol. It'll play again in the future. But yeah. Otherwise, that would diminish the fun of having him surprise you with it. Wouldn't it? Does Kaiden have a personalized song? Only the... Oh, there once was a hero named Kaiden the Brave, handsome and strong, though in need of a shave. That's the only one Kaiden has. Everyone always thinks that the final conversation that Kaiden and Lucien have about Lucien writing Kaiden his own song means that there should be another conversation where he actually sings a uniquely written, composed song for Kaiden. I haven't written one. It's not there. There isn't one. That's as far as we got with the interactions, and then I thought we'd better quit while we were ahead and actually record some stuff. Bearing in mind the voice actor's time was very limited. Yeah, I'm afraid that's just a fact of Skyrim, Cthulin. Sometimes NPCs are going to talk over one another. There's no way around that. Unfortunately, that is physically impossible, Cthulin. The engine does not have any kind of function for knowing what the last line Lucien said was. Ain't a thing. Sorry. I understand why you want it, but it can't be. Can't do that. Just checking the distances on these. Did I miss one there? No, I don't think I did. Put the get is ID at the top. Past Joseph really didn't know what he was doing with the ordering of these conditions. Look, and get random percent at the bottom. It's so basic, Past Joseph. You put get is ID at the top. That should be your first one. Get random percent should be your bottom one. And that's the most efficient. Thou fool, Joseph. If I had the opportunity, would I do more Lucien and Kaiden interactions? Eventually, yeah, but it's really not a priority just at the moment because we've already got them there. You know, there are Kaiden interactions and there are so many new things I want to do for Lucien that revisiting things we've already done isn't top of the list. But one day, maybe. Evil Space God Lucien, do that. Hey Pocket, yes, this is Skyrim modding. That is why we're in the Skyrim Twitch category. 2-pack, right, okay. Question from Dwemacog. I have one last topic I'd really appreciate you going over when you have a moment. Horse riding. Righto. I have 2 packages for my follower. These ones actually work. One for following the player without horse riding, and one for following the player that allows horse riding. And then I just have a condition on the packages for whether or not the player is on a horseback. Spot on. That all sounds good. My follower is very slow to realise they should get on their horse or dismount. I'm sure it's because I need to add that follower.evaluate package script so that they realise they need to change behaviour, but I'm not sure where to... I took a peek at some of the stuff you have for Lucien. It looks like you have a couple of different things going on, like a marker that moves to a certain position from the player, and if the player does the animation tail horse mount and Lucien is a certain distance from Clive, Clive will move to that marker. Ah, no, you're misunderstanding what's going on there. Okay, so, Dwemer. Let me just do this here, and I'll explain what's going on with Clive. So, yeah, there are things going on with the horse thing. So let's have a look. Again, you'll have to bear with me a second while I remember what's happening with the script. So, okay. On animation, so on the player loading the game, we register for the animation events tail horse mount, tail horse dismount. So that's when you get on your horse and when you get off your horse. You register for those, and that will create an instant event that triggers when you get on your horse, or when you get off your horse. Spot on, no delay, that'll happen. So when this script runs, when this animation event does happen, i.e. when the player gets on or off a horse, if Lucien has a global variable, which is checking whether he can ride his horse or not, is 1, so that means if you've got Clive, then we check, is Lucien recruited? Is he enabled? Is he dead? Is he near the player? Now this one actually isn't that. jrlucien.getDistance players greater than 0. That is a cheat condition. That's saying, is Lucien's distance from the player greater than 0? Which it always should be, because Lucien can never occupy the same place as the player. Unless he's not loaded. If Lucien is in another cell, or so far away in the game that he isn't loaded, then get distance between him and the player will return as 0. So really what that condition there is checking that Lucien is currently loaded in the game. And I'm also checking he's within 3,000 distance units from the player. Then I'm checking if the event was mounting. It runs a function called Lucien mount up, which is in another script. So we'll have a look at that in a second. If the player has just dismounted their horse, it forces Lucien to instantly dismount, and you'll notice this in game. Lucien can be slow to mount up after you've mounted your horse, but he will dismount pretty much the exact same second you do, because this runs straight away. He hops straight off his horse, then it forces him to evaluate his package, and he'll notice now then, therefore, the player is no longer riding a horse, so he should no longer get back on the horse. And it also reevaluates Clive's package, which will tell Clive he should start following the party again if you've got that toggled on. Now, we also have this business with markers, which I'll come back to. So this is, but I'll explain that when we go to JR Lucien riding, and we'll look at Lucien mount up. So here is that. So that's the script in another, we're calling a function in another script there, and here it is. So Lucien mount up. This is what's called, remember, when the player gets on the horse. See you, the brooding elf. So if Lucien.getDistance JR Lucien horse is greater than 2,000, or the horse isn't loaded, so that is if Clive is not currently with the party, if he's far away, or if he's not loaded at all, this runs, and the function of this part of the script is to teleport Clive to the player. So first thing is, it disables Clive, so if he was enabled, he's now invisible. And it gets the angle that the player is currently standing. Why do I do that? Well, it moves a marker, which is a little invisible cross, in front of the player. So it moves that marker round to the player at that particular angle just in front of them. And then what happens, or rather I say in front of them, sorry, behind them. And it records this value theta, which starts at 90 degrees. While theta is less than 360 degrees, this loops round. And every time it loops round, we also get this has line of sight horse test marker. Now, I don't know how good you all are with scripting, but if you read this, basically the function of this is it places that marker in front of the player. It says, can the player see it? Yes. Okay. Then I'll move it 90 degrees round, so it's now to the side of the player. Can the player see it? Yes. Okay, I'll move it another 90 degrees behind the player now. Can the player see it? Yes. Move it that way around. Can the player see it? No. So it checks 4 different spots to see if the player can see the marker. And if the player at any of those points can't see the marker, then the loop breaks and that's where the marker stays. And then Clive is moved to that marker and turned on. So the function of this script is to look around you, try and find a spot where you aren't currently looking, and pop Clive there. And the effect of that, if it works, should mean Clive should never just appear in front of you. He should always run up from somewhere where you're not looking. It doesn't always work, because there can be lag. If you're turning your camera at the time, this loop can break when it's not supposed to. But the effect should be that you don't get Clive popping into the world in front of you. He just turns up. I have the same function, or another version of the same function, for Lucien's automatic catch-up system. So when Lucien falls too far behind you, he will catch up with you. And again, I try and place him outside of your line of sight. It doesn't always work. If it tries all 4 places, and he's always within line of sight, for instance, if you're in third-person view and you're zoomed out, then you will always be able to see these points, in which case it'll just give up and place him behind you. But it does at least try to look for them. So Lucien's auto catch-up does the same thing. Anyway, when we've done that, and we've spawned Clive in, or if Clive was already nearby, it tells Lucien to evaluate the package, and it tells the horse to evaluate the package, which will kick him into gear and say, Lucien, mate, you should run to your horse, and then you should get on it. Now, I have 2 packages for Lucien mounting the horse. One of them is travel to horse, and one of them is mount the horse. No, do I? No, I don't actually. I have 2 packages. I have 2 packages. One of them is travel and run to the horse and mount it, which is that activate package we were looking at just now, which is an activate object package targeted at Clive with preferred speed run, which will mean he'll run to the horse. And then the other package I have is just a follow package, but that allows riding, which is this one here on Lucien. When it loads up. Here we are. Follow a package ride, and that one is only true when you're allowed to ride, when you allow him to ride, when you have that turned on. So, and if I just had this and I didn't have the activate horse package, then what you observe in game is he will still go and get on the horse, but he'll go at a slow walking pace over to the horse, which is really annoying, which is why I have an extra package to make him run straight to the horse first. And only when he's actually mounted will this package then kick in. Hope that's useful. Sorry, that was a long explanation for those of you who aren't interested in that. But, little peek behind the curtain at how it all works, and hopefully that'll be helpful for your own mods. Anyway, to catch up with the rest of it. Pocket, yes, it's going very well, thank you. Hope all's going well with you. Hey, Silver14578, welcome to the stream. Yeah, as I say, Cthulhu, and sometimes it can be a little bit slow to kick in. Nothing I can really do about that. Hey, Butane Boss, welcome to the stream. Hello, Lich Demons. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm assuming we'll probably get a few extra people now for those of you who didn't remember that daylight saving has happened and the stream started an hour earlier than it would have done for those of you in the US or whatever, where you've had daylight savings start. For reference, if you're ever wondering when the stream is going to start, there is a countdown directly underneath here. You can either go to my stream schedule page on Twitch, or you can look at the Streamlabs countdown widget, which is under the stream. That will always be accurate for your time zone and whatever daylight savings is going on there. I don't know, Grunge. I don't know which direction you guys in the US have moved. I just know some of you were talking earlier about it being an hour. An hour's different. But point is, I've been going for over an hour on the stream now. I started an hour ago. So whatever time that is for you is when the streams start at the moment until UK daylight saving kicks in. Can't remember when that is. Clocks will move at some point. Anyway, those are those questions answered. I'm going to carry on with the distances on the followers. Fine, hour later. I don't even know what I'm saying. Time be weird. Time zones be weird. What can you do? Nout. La 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 bamba. Steady on there, Kaiden. You've lost a bit of blood. Not this weekend, but the weekend after. There you go, Nuna. Nuna knows. Nuna knows. Time is a construct. It is. It's not real. What is time? Who are we? What is life? What's the point? Do I have a potential date in mind for the Saints and Seducers patch? Well, Lich Demons, you can watch me work on it in these streams. At the moment, I'm bug fixing the new version. I'm hoping to try and finish the voice acting for the Saints and Seducers plugin today, but it's looking increasingly unlikely we're actually going to manage that, which means we'll finish it next Thursday instead, which means if I had to guess a release date, I would guess next Saturday. Not this coming Saturday, but the next Saturday. But I can't promise. I don't know how long these things take. Testing, I might test it and it might not work at all. You know, it might be hopelessly broken, in which case it'll take longer to work out. But ballpark, that's the thinking. Hello, Yotam Randor. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the house of fun. Da, 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 da. Well, Lich Demons, basically, I work on the Saints and Seducers plugin on my streams. And we do the streams on Thursdays. So my whole point was to show you the whole process for those plugins. So I don't work on it in my own time. I work on other stuff in my own time. So it will take however many streams it takes. Fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, gotta change all these 500s to 800. Da 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 doo. What I should really have done for this is I shouldn't be comparing to a value of 500. I should be comparing to a global variable. I should have said use global, and I should have made a global variable for Lucien follower interaction distance, and then just tweaked that. So if you're doing your own mods, do that. Don't do this. But it's too late now. That's how I've set it up. When Beyond Skyrim is out, will Lucien have dialogue for more than just Cyrodiil? I swear you've asked me this before, Eos from Randor. Yes, I would love to do. I'm a big fan of Beyond Skyrim, and I would love to do interactions with it eventually when I get round to it. Here's Ori and Lucien's conversation about relations, which is one of my favorites. It was so much fun to write. It's very silly. It's just funny, you know. I liked writing flustered Lucien. It was entertaining. And also, Warabiki is a lovely person to work with. I really enjoyed doing that. If you want to see what it is, Dwemercog, if you hop onto my YouTube channel, I've done a video called Lucien Flavius and Ori. And I've done a video showing you every interaction. Oh, those are his other ones there. So you can watch the conversation if you want. It's towards the end. Okay, I think we've done all the distance checks now. I think we are sorted. Sorted, innit? Sorted. Done. So there you go. Save that. I'm going to add it to my running changelog I have here. Increased distance for... Oh, this is version 1.6.1. Increased distance for... Increased maximum distance for follower interactions from 500 to 800. There you go. Save that. Right. Any further bug reports you guys have from the new version? Any particular subtitles you've noticed don't match up, or missing characters or anything? Anything funky going on? Do let me know. Now is a good time to fix them. I've done an awful lot of tweaking. Now the next thing I wanted to do, and I will just pop us back onto camera while I set this up. Yeah, I fixed that now, Lich Demons. Worry not. That's already sorted. That was just my bad, basically. Should I reinstall Lucien RQ, or is it not out yet? I have no idea what you're talking about. What's Lucien RQ? No. So it'll be fixed in Lucien version 1.6.1. That's what I'm saying when it's fixed. I'm working on that right now, here, in front of you, on this stream. And what I'm saying is I've fixed that on my list. But it will update, and there will be a change log. You'll see the version number increase. You know, don't worry about it. Right, so I'm just loading up Lazy Voice Finder because one of the things that the new version of Lazy Voice Finder has added, and I'll be honest, I only updated my Lazy Voice Finder a few days ago. The latest version of it allows you to view any lines. You can filter your lines by missing dialogue. So I can get it to tell me any lines that are in the mod that are missing voice acting. And there are a few, it turns out, for Lucien, that I didn't know. And no one's ever reported, because if it's missing voice acting, and it's just an idle line, chances are you'll never even know. The subtitle will flash up for just a second, or like half a second or something. Chances are you'll never even notice. So that's why these lines have never been reported to me, and I've never even noticed. But they are supposed to be there, and they're missing some dialogue. So I will show you in just 1 second. Right, here we go. Screen with camera. I don't know what you're talking about, Yotam Randor. No idea. Oh, that's not right. Screen with camera. Oh, there you go, yeah. Just to clarify again, so I will be talking about the new surprise feature in Lucien version 1.6.0 on Saturday. I'll be doing an announcement then, and until then, my hope is to have give you guys the chance to try the mod out for yourself, try the update out for yourself, and you'll discover the new content. But until then, I'm trying not to spoil it on the streams. You know, I wrote it hoping that you guys would discover it yourselves. You know, so I want to give people a chance who haven't had a chance to play with the new update yet. But only until Saturday, and then I'll just announce it. So you'll have had a week then to give it a try. Okay, so the first line here is this one, "and stay dead," which is intended to play when you kill your first dragon. It's intended to play when you kill the dragon that Alduin resurrects. I believe. The first one, the one at Kinesgrove. So, yeah, Lich Demons, that's the surprise thing, exactly. So I need to record these because I'm sure I did record them at some point, but I have no idea where those files are. So I think we're going to have to fresh record some of these lines. Thanks, Nuna. Yeah, once again, Jotun Randall, I just want to stress that that particular content I'm trying not to spoil for everyone else on the stream. So if you could please just keep that to yourself rather than telling everyone, I would greatly appreciate that because I'm trying to surprise people. Hello, Vickle. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are very well. Yes, thank you, Lich Demons. Avoiding it is helpful. Right, so the first line is, hey, Miss Blue Gaming's doing very well, thank you. Hope you are too. So I've got this line and stay dead. Now, these ones are the old Inigo interactions, which I've reworked a bit, such that these ones are no longer valid. So they are coming up, which is fine, but I've left them there to avoid anything breaking, but these are gone, so that doesn't matter. This one here, hello, we'd like to borrow some books, is intended for the caller. Look at these, 3 lines here. Hello, we'd like to borrow some books. All we want is your books. That's literally it. Is this really all this really necessary? And what do you even call it's a stupid name? You're stupid. Those are all lines that Lucien is supposed to say, but doesn't have any dialogue for. I could use a hand with this one. Is another one of the old Inigo interactions. I'm enjoying this lovely rain. That's another one. I agree. I hate these places. Each to their own. Those are all gone. This is for Codlac. That's a line for companions that I've got no audio for. I say, don't you think this is getting into the realms of overkill? I don't know what that is. It says it's under JR Lucien training. Should we see if we can find it? What is that supposed to be? Might be under the spell toggling things. I'm just going to keep going down until I can find a line that looks like it belongs to this. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. This is the problem, of course. While it'll tell you which quest it's under, I don't believe it'll tell me more information about it. It might do. Let's see. Unhide columns. Ah, topic text. Elemental Blast. That's the one. It's for Elemental Blast. Bolt, blast. So it's training. Let's train. Spells. Elemental blast. I say, don't you think this is getting into the realms of overkill? Is apparently missing a line. Now, Lich Damon says I could have sworn I've heard it before. So let's have a look and see if it actually is missing a line or if it's a weird copy. You do get these sometimes. So let's undo no voice file and instead do select all, and we'll filter by I say. Don't. There is only one instance of that, and it is missing the dialogue. That is gone. It's not there. So maybe it was there before and I've somehow lost it, but in the latest version of Lucien, that dialogue is missing. Because if I click it, nothing happens. So let's go back and filter again by no voice file. Lydia, help! Oh, okay. Well, have a wonderful Thursday to you too, Vickle. It was lovely of you to drop by, however briefly. I also have Clive, attack! For when you're in battle with Clive. This is a pun for fighting a boar. If you're fighting a boar, we have... Gosh, is this fight over yet? I'm getting bored. Apparently, I've never actually implemented that dialogue. And these last 2 lines here... Now, this, I'm not sure what's going on with this. Because these are 2 lines from reading out the Sithis reading. But these are duplicates. These lines already exist. If I search by Sithis is the start, and then we turn off the filters. Look. There's the other one. This one is voiced. Sithis is the start of the house. Before him was nothing, but the foolish Altmer have names for and revere this nothing. Right. So that one has dialogue. This one doesn't. Why? We don't know. Why is there a weird duplicate? I can't tell. They have the same editor ID, except for a 6 instead of a 7 there. So I can only assume it was some kind of bug. Now, let's check the Lydia help. Lydia help. No, that has no dialogue. So, I think that's missing. So, I'm going to go along and record these ones that are missing the audio. So let's filter again by no voice file. Go. It's really handy. I can't recommend Lazy Voice Finder enough to those of you who are making follower mods. It's such a useful tool for doing things like this. And just the ability to play any line directly from a BSA and extract it without needing to extract the BSA, just to specifically extract individual lines, is just so handy. It's why I recommended it in my tutorial series. I will be going on to a tutorial to fully explain how to use this tool. Okay. Right, so I'm going to need to open my audio editing software. And I'm going to need to get the pop filter out. I'm going to pop us back onto camera while I do that. Now, remember, when I open the audio editing software, sometimes the sound disappears from the stream. If that happens, I'll get it fixed as soon as possible. Please don't panic and leave. I will get it fixed. It's on my end, not on yours. But it should be fine. It usually is fine. It's just sometimes we can get a problem when I open this software. So, opening it now. Don't panic. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Yep, still working, still working, still working. Take a little sip of the water. Testing. Yep, we're all good. Okay, so I'm going to open up the old Lucien file and we'll get the pop filter for a nice, crisp, pop-free recording. Pop-free. So there'll be no Justin Bieber here. Did I sound hip and down with the kids there with my popular culture reference? How do you do, fellow kids? I know all your pop music that you like, your popular music. I'm also going to close my window and the curtains to try and reduce any background noise. You just watch. This is now when Grey will wake up and come and start jingling in the background. She is awake, actually. She's looking at me. I think she's about to cause chaos. No, I am only 23, but I am sufficiently out of touch with a lot of the youth things that I feel older sometimes. This is when Grey will come and demand her tribute, exactly. 'Cause it's a beautiful night, looking for something dumb to do. Hey baby, I think I wanna marry you. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-ba-ba-bam-ba-dum. Who cares, baby? I think I wanna marry you. Do-do-da-da-da. Got a pocket full of cash we can blow. Something you know. Are you ready? Are you ready? I don't really know the words to the song, as I'm sure is painfully obvious. Have I ever met Shirley Curry? Not in real life. Digitally, yes. We have communicated on Discord and in YouTube comments, but no, not in real life. We are on different sides of the world. Oh yes, and Shirley has also come to a few streams. That is also true. Ba 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 ba. Bum bum ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. You say no 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 no. Yeah 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 yeah. Okay, let's record these lines, but first I'm gonna take a sip of water and we're gonna warm up. So entering Lucien mode. Lucien.exe is about to crash. Hello there, my name is Lucien Flavius. Hello, hello, I say, goodness me, marvellous. Hello there, my name is Lucien Flavius. I'm a scientist, philosopher, amateur wizard, and something musician, though I suppose that's more of a hobby. I'm here in Skyrim on an expedition, academic mainly. I find the province simply fascinating. The flora, the fauna, the ruins, both Dwemer and Nordic. There we are, marvellous, into Lucien mode. It's all gone posh, we're very good and good to go. Right. Yes, Ace. Both she and Gary were at the 1.6.0 announcement, it's true. Dwemer, I wish that were a thing! Maybe after COVID is gone, we could make it into a thing. I'd love to meet up with some other people in the modding community. IRL. Shout out to Nuna for wearing themselves out doing a bit of colouring. Sigh. Right, hello, 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 hello! Lucien Flavius, at your service. Okay. Right. And stay dead! I'm gonna go one more time. And stay dead! Hello! We'd like to borrow some books. All we want is your books. That's literally it. Is this... All we want is your books. That's literally it. Is all this really necessary? What do you even call? It's a stupid name. You're stupid. And graze up. Hello. Good morning. Do you want your treats? Come on then. Oh, thanks, Cthulin. That's nice. I think she's disturbed by me making all the noises. I think because I'm louder than normal when I'm recording. I think that's what gets her to come over. Come on then. Yeah, she knows what that noise means. Did I finish Saints and Seducers? No, but I will. I'm just prioritizing patching the new version of the main mod first before worrying about the Saints and Seducers plugin. Here she is. Now, she wounded me the other day. I'm not going to show you guys too closely because I don't want you to, those of you who are squeamish or whatever. But I was extremely foolish, and I have been injured by it. So that's the glimpse you're getting. But what happened was, at about 1 AM, a couple of nights ago, I heard a yell from downstairs, a noise of Pusscat in distress, a sort of, it's a bit like that. Thanks for the follow, Magic Circle. Yeah, it is really painful. So I came downstairs to figure out what was going on, thought she might have hurt herself or something. And she was by the window, and outside the window was another cat. And it was a big orange, big ginger cat from next door. And they were yelling at each other through the glass. She was very stressed. So I thought, in my paternal, must-look-after Pusscat child mode, I was like, I must remove my Pusscat child from this argument. So I picked her up in my arms. And she was fine with it, as she usually is. She was fine with it. I walked away. She was like, a bit like still, let me at him, kind of in my arms. And I brought her away. And I was, as I was carrying her up towards my room with the intention of shutting her in here with me for a bit to calm her down and give her some treats, she wrapped her paws around my arm like you've seen her do before, grabbed hold as tight as she could, and kicked me twice in the hand. Claws out, just straight in, and straight in again. And wow, did that hurt. So naturally, I dropped her. I mean, it took a bit of prizing to get her claws off me, because she was, like, grabbing on. And I can only assume what happened was she was still in this kind of stressed out, I've got to fight another cat mode. And then she often does do kicks against my hand like that. It's a game that she plays, you know. She'll often have a kick at my hand or against my foot. But I think because she was still in stress mode, she had all her claws out and was ready like that. And didn't really know what she was doing. And just went for it. And, you know, there was me wandering around the house at 1 a.m. trying to find Savlon and bandages. So I didn't leak all my blood out onto the floor. Yeah. Yeah, we had a disagreement, didn't we? So that was that. Anyway, hello there, General Sacrilicious. You are a bold one. Oh, I'm sure it wasn't on purpose, Bard. I'm sure it wasn't. You know, she means very well and she's a lovely cat. It was just an unfortunate incident, which really hurts. Shout out from Nuna to a very kind person who sent them a lovely surprise. I can't imagine what you mean. Poor Graham, poor me. Yeah, poor me. I was wounded. It does really sting. Anyway, let me just let Gray out because she wants to go. Go on. Off you go. And one of the worst bits is, one of the bits where her claw caught me is on this sort of little webbed bit, you know, between your hands and just sort of there. And whenever I move my thumb, it pulls on that. And that is not comfortable at all. But that's where she got me. So I've learned my lesson now. I've learned don't pick up cat when anger. No, if angy, no touch. Anyway. Shout out to Mazakin's mum for giving them a piece of cake. Very nice. Love cake. Right. Can't play the guitar or piano. I mean, I can. It just hurts. But you know, no pain, no gain. And so they say, and all of that. Though I persevere with things, but I'm hoping it will stop hurting quite so much soon. Anyway, let's do more recording. Now that Gray's gone, we won't have the jingling interference. Is it that look in your eyes? Or is it this dancing juice? Or are they dancing shoes? Not sure. Hey, baby, I think I want to marry you. Okay. Dancing tune. It could be a dancing tune. That's true. Anyway, where did we get to? What do you even call? It's a stupid name. You're stupid. One more time. What do you even call? It's a stupid name. You're stupid. Right. This is for Codlack. More emotion. This is for Codlack. This is for Codlack. Okay. One of those takes will probably be fine. I say, don't you think this is getting into the realms of overkill? One more time. I say, don't you think this is getting into the realms of overkill? Lydia, help! Clive, attack! Gosh, is this fight over yet? I'm getting bored. Right, we have some lines. Who is Lucien calling stupid? The caller! There's a request for What's New Pussycat. I don't really know that song, except for the bit that goes, What's new, pussycat? Whoa, ho, ho! So I hope that'll do. I'll refund you the points if you want. Right. Sorry, courage spell thing. Lucien's courage spell doesn't seem to work. What do you mean? On your character? What do you mean it doesn't work? In what way does it not work? Delilah. Now, funny enough, my first interpretation of that was thinking, hey there, Delilah. Hey there, Delilah, in the style of Tom Jones. Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City? Huh! I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you seem so pretty. Yes, you do. Anyway, right, sounds like you probably have some kind of effect on Kazan that's making him resistant to illusion spells, Lich Demons. Could be coming from another mod. But I haven't touched the implementation for Courage since I wrote it. I do assume you want the original Delilah, though. I'll try and find that in a sec. Let me just export some of these lines first, and we'll have a look at doing that. Sorry, my headphones aren't behaving. I'm assuming you mean the spell is cast on you, right? So when the spell hits you, no effect appears. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, that's probably spell resistance on your character. Have a look at your active effects and see if you've got any illusion resistance going on. Or just general magic resistance. There we go. Right, that's set up. I can hear my own lines now. Okay, so... And stay dead is the line here. So this is file, export, audio. Might tighten up that line there a little bit. So this is Lucien, version 1.6.1. And stay deceased. I'll be honest, Lich Demons, I don't know, but if it's only happening to one of your characters, it must be on your end. It can't be on Lucien's end. If it were happening to every character, I would say that's my thing. But if it's there. If I were you, I would just toggle courage off. Yeah, Sacrilicious Courage. It's not actually Courage that Lucien casts. It's a copy of Courage called Lucien's Courage. That Lucien casts, which is a subtly different version of the spell. But yes, obviously Calm, Frenzy, and Fear can't work on the player, can they? Because how would that work? The player is controlled by the player. Like, can't work. NPCs can't cast illusion spells except for invisibility by default. All we want is your books. Oh, Tiny Lucien's coming after me. No, you'll never take me alive. You'll never catch me. No, no. Okay, caught me. Down you go. That's where it's supposed to go to. How can courage affect the player? Does it give them a buff or something? Yeah, it's just a buff. That's all courage is. It's just a health buff. Max health. Is it stamina as well? Okay, it's stamina as well. Courage does stamina and health. Fair. If you love the little Lucien, Miss Blue Gamings, you can get one of your own straight off the Nexus at the moment. I added it with version 1.6.0. It's called Tiny Lucien Shimiji. It's under the MISC files on the Nexus. If you want your own little Tiny Lucien wandering around the screen. He's very cute. It's made by the wonderful Shiva from our server. Yep! Really? Bum 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 bum. Oh, that's a fun idea, Sacrilegious. Here we are. What do you even call? It's a stupid name. You're stupid. Call stupid. Why, Delilah? Now, of course, this is another one of those songs I don't really know. We can make it up. Let's go something like, I saw the light on the night that I passed by her window. I saw the flickering shadows of love on her blind. I don't know how the tune goes for that bit. She was my woman. And as she deceived me, I watched and went out of my mind. My Delilah. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Why, Delilah? I could see that girl was no good for me. But I was lost like a slave that no man could free. Close enough as long as I'm not a Hey There Delilah. For Codlack. Of course, alternatively, you could have... I saw the light on the night that I passed by her window. I saw the flickering shadows of love on her blind. She was my woman as she deceived me. I watched and went out of my mind. Oh, my Delilah. Oh, why, Delilah? I could see that girl was no good for me. Oh, but I was lost like a slave that no man could free. At the break of day, when the man drove away, I was waiting across the street to her house, and she opened the door. She stood there laughing. And so on. Okay, one day I want to make a follower mod like Lucien. What equipment do you need to make a follower mod? Yosu Rendor, go onto my YouTube channel and check out my How to Make a Follower Mod like Lucien Flavius tutorial series, which explains all this stuff for you. You know, it'll talk you through the entire process, tell you exactly what you need, exactly what software and hardware you need. Have a look at that. It'll answer all of that for you. I say, don't you think this is getting into the realms of overkill? Overkill. You are so welcome, Bard. Daedric Mistress got the philosophy line. I love the way the philosophy line's turned from something that haunts your dreams at night into something you guys are excited to discover. How the tables have tabled. Right, this is Lydia. Help! Lydia, help! I like to think of philosophy as a way of conclusively resolving the big questions in life, or is it the important questions in life? Can't remember. Which one is it? The important questions in life or the big questions in life? Big questions. I like to think of philosophy as a way of conclusively resolving the big questions in life. Or is it? Discuss. Ooh, Nuna thinks important. Ninja and Singular B think big. Who will win? There's only one way to find out. Fight! Big versus important. Ah, some people think important. Poll! Leia, let's do a poll. Why not? Big or important? Big questions or important questions? Big, important. You have 2 minutes to vote. Go for it. Tell me which is the truth. And then we'll check what the reality is. So far, important's winning. Oh, I might sneeze. Gosh. Excuse me. Big is winning. I've got a bit of echo on my Clive attack here. So I might re-record that one. Clive, attack! That sounds a bit better. A little bit less echo there. Ah, what did I do? She was my woman. Oh no, Nuna. Why we no Nuna? What's happened, Nuna? Oh, you have a headache. I'm sorry. Clive, I choose you. Clive, use Thunderbolt. Clive, at you. Clive used teleport. And you never saw him again. Of course Clive knows Thunderbolt. It's his most important skill. Okay, right, the poll was big. Big was the answer, but let's see. Let's find out. Let's listen to the line all together now. I like to think of philosophy as a way of conclusively resolving the big questions in life. Or is it? Discuss. I like to think of philosophy as a way of conclusively resolving the big questions in life. Or is it? Discuss. It was big. Not important, but big. Shout out from Jotun Randor to Joseph. That's me, I'm Joseph, for making these streams. And of course, Lucien, you make my evenings fun. So thank you, Joseph, with a little blue heart. Oh, that's nice. I philosophy think too of like way of conclusively as a resolving questions the big life in. Or it is? Discuss. Or, of course, we could have every other word. Every other word. I do of as way conclusively the questions life is discuss. Or we can have it backwards. That would be better, wouldn't it? Let's have it backwards. Discuss it is, or life in questions big, the resolving conclusively of way as philosophy or think. To like, I. This is Lucian's brain on follower framework, exactly. Shout out from Nuna to Junior, who's now having to listen to them doing a Lucien impression. How do I just rattle those off? I have the original line written down in front of me. I'm just reading it backwards. Also, hi Rose Thorn, welcome to the stream. Why, de-lulu? Moo, 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 de-lulu. Shoo-woos, moo-woo moon. Goodbye, Cthulhin. Have a lovely day. Hope you enjoyed your little break. I'm sorry, Wolf Scribbles. Reality is already broken. All I'm doing is drawing attention to it. Ah, well, it's lovely to hear you or read you speak, Rosethorn. I mean, I love my lurkers. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for boosting my numbers, but it's always lovely to chat to you too. Forgive me, Delilah, I just couldn't take it no more. Right, let's go back to stream with camera. Drag all these lines over. Hello, Anvar. Oh, there once was a hero named Anvar the Red who came riding to Anvar from Anvarikstead. Bum 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 bum. Right, let's do these. Let's find these lines then. First one was dragon. Misk. Nope. Combat. No. Detection. Detect. It's detect, isn't it? Detect. Combat to normal and stay dead. For Saloknir. Saloknir. Lostros voslarum. That is the original Dovazul. Hey, Gamer Victor. Welcome to the Streamer-rooney. Streamer-rooney. I see you. We got some work to do now. Bum 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 bum. So that one done. What's next? What's next? I'll be right behind you. Hello Books. So this is under MG. Magis Guild, Le Guild de la Magis. Hello, we'd like to borrow some books. Now, funnily enough, these missing lines could be something to do with why people report bugs with the Orthorn quest here, because stages are triggered based on them. So if they don't actually play because they're missing dialogue, or don't play properly, that could be why it's not working properly for some people sometimes. Who knows? It's just the theory. It's just a theory. May not be true. It's little theory. Little tiny hello theory. Taunt. All I want is your books. Oh, all I want is your books. All I want is your books. Ah, now this is run on target. We don't want that. We want run on combat target. So there's a bug. There's a little bug for you. A little bugaroo. All I needed was the love you gave. Bird, 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 bird. Bird, bird, bird. I only wanna be with you. I think I probably mixed up some songs there. Why did I decide to make Lucien? For fun. No, I have always been a writer, always interested in writing. Previously did books. Wasn't getting to much of an audience. Loved Skyrim. Thought, what can I do to try and get my writing to a larger audience and have fun and use my engineering skills and my acting skills and combine that with my love of Skyrim. Oh, I know, I'll make a follower mod. Bam. Did it. Here you are. Right, for Codlag, that's going to be a companion's line now. Les compagnons. Hello, my name is Lucien. This is for Codlag. Or in German, good luck. Generate the lib files, that's what we like to do. We like to generate the lib files. And then we're gonna find what the next line is. It's the overkill line from the training. And we go to the training and we go to the player dialogue and we scroll down to find the spells and we scroll down through that until we find Elemental Blast. And there's the first line. Oh, I say, don't you think this is getting into the realms of overkill? Which goes to show just how many people have bothered to try and teach Lucien Elemental Blast, which proves my point. This is a spell that requires Lucien's Destruction to be greater than 75 to cast. It is an expert level spell. This is why I haven't bothered doing the expert level spells for many of the spells in the mod or in the game. Because if you know, why I went up to Adept, because those are the ones that players actually stand a chance of being able to teach them. But if you have this 75 skill requirement for expert level spells, which the game has by default, I can't turn that off, then you need to get to level 75 to learn them. Which goes to show, obviously, not many people have ever got to level 75 Destruction with the Creation Club Arcane Accessories plugin and tried to get Lucien to learn Elemental Blast, because no one has ever reported that this line is missing audio. But there you go, it is, and it's now fixed. So if you ever want to try that. Oh, there once was a hero named Liam the Lucky who turned up on the stream, and that was good. Didn't really rhyme, but yeah. Hi, Liam! You have ice cream. That's a very exciting, Game of Victor. I'm a big fan of having ice cream. I recommend it. Just in life as a good tactic. Just, if in doubt, have ice cream. Right, Lydia Help. Where's that going to be? It's going to be under Follower. It's going to be under Combat. Hit. Well, all I can say is the line is obviously missing. But let's check. Here, training line. If I sort by name, there should be no corresponding foos. And there isn't. There's just a lip and a wav. So no, it has no audio. Who knows what happened to that? Anyway, Lydia Help. This line is missing audio. And now it's not, because we fixed it. Wahoo, I fixed it. Yep. Oh. But the thing is, this line is actually set to repeat far too often. So while it doesn't have audio and doesn't play, if I let it play, it's going to annoy people. So this needs to get random percent check on it to make it much less likely. Get random percent less than. Ooh, what should we put? Let's go with 3% arbitrarily. You can always tune it later. And we'll set it to only play once every 24 hours. Okay, that should be good. So, also, these are also missing. These should also have get random percents and be 24 hours, because otherwise that's going to be way too often. Oh, yeah. Going to take a little while to redo these. It's funny, the things that you just spot sometimes while you're working on something else, and you just spot that something else needs fixing while you're there. I'll do all the 24 hours first, and then I'll go back. No, I'll do them one by one. 24 hours, and the last one needed a condition for get random percent less than 3. And this one, get random percent less than 3. And this one, DJ, get random percent less than 3. That was to reset 24. Of course, not many people choose these names, so you won't notice that this line plays too often, but it does. This was made by a Joseph who didn't really know what he was doing. Look for the bare necessities. Why did I make Lydia dislike Lucien when they first met? Because it's blooming difficult to find lines you can use for a conversation. Splicing is horrible. So I found some lines that would fit, and I used them, and that's how the conversation ended up. Were I able to create entirely new Lydia lines, I may have gone down a different route. But I can't do that. So that's what you got. Oh boy. Get random percent needs to be the bottom. 24. La 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 la. Done. Right. What was this? Get it off. Get it off. Oh, that's a chorus line. Right. These lines. These need lower probabilities. These repeat too often. Can we discuss this thing? This is oof, highly unfriendly. That needs a lower probability, because these do play too often. I notice he says these all the time in combat, doesn't he? Ow, ow, ow. That one will have only once every 24 hours. Might have a higher probability for that, because that one's a little bit less annoying. We'll leave the standard ow and ah. Bad dog, bad. Again. Once every 24 hours, please. A little help over here. No, that one's okay, but again, only once every 24 hours. Shoot him, Ori. Yeah, don't repeat that more than once every 24 hours, but we'll leave the probabilities. Shoot her, Ori, again, 24 hours. Who's my favourite vanilla follower? I don't know, I never really play with vanilla followers. Gamer Victor, you are going to be great. Believe in yourself. You're going to be fantastic. Oh, and here's the Miko line. Kill Miko. And I'll set the distance to 800 to be consistent with everything else. Okay, that's that sorted. Oh, radical suggestion here, but I was just wondering, have you considered not trying to murder me? That probability can go down to like 10%. Because that's annoying. We'll go even lower. Let's go down to 5%. Any other lines that are annoying? Right, Clive, attack. That is a detect? Which doesn't play and should. And what else are we missing? Maybe. Jotun Randor, maybe. And finally the board line. Combat Taunt. Have to see how I feel when I get there. Here we are. There's the board line. Are bleed out lines just broken for NPCs? Yes. Yes, they're broken. They don't work. Which is a shame. Lucien has some that don't get used. Because it doesn't work. But you never know. Oh, that's nice, Gamer Victor. Glad you enjoyed. See a silver 14578. Enjoy your thing, whatever you're going to do. Press OK and save. Right. We are 2 hours in. We're definitely not going to finish Saints and Seducers today. There was me optimistically thinking we might. Anyway, I've now done the missing dialogue. So that's good. Is there anything else that needs fixing? I think we've done everything now. I'll add that to the changelog, of course. Restored missing audio for lines to do with fighting boars, fighting the caller, Calling Lydia for help. Telling Clive to attack. Let's go back to the missing dialogue ones. The Kinesgrove dragon fight. Codlac. Learning Elemental Blast. And that's it. He'll only do that, Yosen Rando, I think if he gets hit by a fear spell. But I'd have to check. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, and the last one I wanted to check was this Thistlefoot line. Because it says this is missing audio, and I've definitely heard this play. This line has definitely played, so why is this now missing audio? But it is. The line isn't there. I mean, have you heard this? Oh, it is filtered right now. That's a good point. That's a good point. Good shout, Quintar. Yeah, there's the line.
Thistlefoot. Hey, Thistlefoot. Want a carrot? Nice juicy carrot. No? Or he's ignoring me.
There you go. So this is another one of those weird duplicate lines, which doesn't have audio and therefore nothing for us to worry about. So we'll ignore that. Oh, hey, Doodlestar, welcome to the stream. So we're good. We've done the lot. Done all the missing lines. All missing lines now restored. So that's a win for the stream. Okay, if none of you have any other further bug reports then, I will park it there and we'll switch over to the Saints and Seducers plugin for the rest of the stream. Oh, another yawn. Gosh. Right, back into Lucien mode. Hello, hello, my name is Lucien Flavius. Gosh, hello, splendid, wonderful, lovely, lovely, lovely. Right. Look at me. Look at me. I'm a magic blacksmith. I can pull a rabbit out of an iron helmet, but only if the helmet is very big and the rabbit is very small and compliant. I like that line. That's a good line. I'm happy with that. Another yawn. I'm so sorry. My brain must have just decided that it's bedtime. Run into a firestorm. Something, 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 something. With no one left to save the world. Do 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 do. Go to bed, I'm streaming. Can't go to bed when I'm streaming. That wouldn't be a very good stream. Bum bum bum. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities. Oh, Mother Nature's recipe as I bring the bare necessities to life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the trees to make some honey just for me. If you look under those rocks and plants and take a glance at the fancy ants and maybe try a few, the bare necessities of life will come to you. Do up. Thank you for the bits, Karen MedQ. Most appreciated. No, that doesn't sound like a very healthy kind of stream. Ginger cheddar biscuits. But it must be nice to get paid to sleep. That is true. That is my dream job. Ha! My dream job! Because you're sleeping and you're dreaming. That was an unexpected pun. I love it. I'm hilarious. Right. Thanks for the sub, Greg. Well, as enchanted rings go, that one's interesting. Are you absolutely sure you want to stick with it? This is, of course, referring to the ring of undressing. Yeah, I'm happy with that. The bare necessities of life will come to you. Probably better do these by batch, otherwise it'll take forever. Nope, absolutely not. This ring is not for me. Thank you very much. Nope, absolutely not. Wait, one more time. Nope, absolutely not. This ring is not for me. Thank you very much. Bliss bugs are fascinating. I wonder if studying the thorax will reveal the sort of... I wonder if... Bliss bugs are fascinating. I wonder if studying the thorax will reveal the source of their bioluminescence. Perhaps magical in nature? Right, okay, next one. Just tried nibbling a flame stalk. Ah, they're spicy. These green butterfly wings are positively iridescent. I must see if I can preserve one to take back home. I know a lepidopterist who'd be fascinated. I've never seen butterfly wings as purple as these. Very pretty. I've never seen butterfly wings as purple as these. Very pretty. This rot scale smells foul. This screaming more stuff is very strange. Just holding it makes me feel oddly uncomfortable. Bizarre. Observation: getting thorn hooks stuck under your fingernails is most uncomfortable. Conclusion: be more careful rummaging through pockets. We had a little grey jingle there. Just see if she settles down and we'll do it one more time. So I'll just tap into my very hurty left hand at the moment. Observation: getting thorn hooks stuck under your fingernails is most uncomfortable. Conclusion: be more careful rummaging through pockets. This elytra venom is potent stuff. Must be careful not to get any on my skin. Incredible! A tomato that's also somehow a soul gem. How? Why? So profoundly baffling. I love it. Right, that's a good batch. We'll try exporting some of those. Thank you, Doodle Sara. It'll heal in time. Soul tomato. Of course, referring to the metaphysical concept of the soul and not simply saying it is the only tomato. Nope, absolutely not. This ring is not for me. Thank you very much. Lovely. Oh, tomato. Oh, soul tomato. Oh, a fruit that can store your soul. I think I'll eat it whole. Tomato. Oh, soul tomato. Whoa. Volare. Oh. Volare. I don't really know the rest of the words. I like that line. That's the spicy one there. It's a spicy. It's very spicy. It's a spicy. These green butterfly wings are positively iridescent. Yeah, that was a very Lucien line. I'm happy with that. So what happens if you cook with a soul tomato? You know, if you make it into a pizza. Tomato sauce on a pizza, but except it's a soul tomato sauce. Do you get a soul pizza? Now I want a soul pizza. This is the rot scale line. So what happens if you eat a soul tomato that partially contains your own soul that's leaked into said tomato? Do you then regain your bit of lost soul? Or more importantly, what happens if you eat a soul tomato full of someone else's soul? Does that soul enter you? Are you then two-souled? Or does it just turn into, like, enchantment energy? Does it recharge your weapons? What about if you make it into a smoothie? Lucien Flavius, asking the important questions. Well, can you have backup souls? Would that allow you to get soul trapped twice? We do need to know what happens when you eat a regular soul gem. Although I can imagine, because you probably can't digest a soul gem. You know, a regular soul gem will probably just sit in your stomach and not do anything. Whereas a soul tomato, you absolutely can digest. We have accidentally done a philosophy, haven't we? I like to think of philosophy as a way of conclusively resolving the big questions about soul tomatoes in life. Or is it? Yes, it is. Oh, you can eat ebony, can you? That sounds bad for you. You can't weep ebony. Ysgramor weeps ebony, and that is because he is a bad bottom. That is why. Doesn't even weep iron or steel, no, he weeps ebony. Well, as enchanted rings go, that one's interesting. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Absolutely sure you want to stick with it? So we're going to do lines 12 to 21. Oh. Yeah. Ysgramor is the Chuck Norris of Elder Scrolls, right? You know? He's just like, yeah, it'll be painful, but it doesn't matter. He's Ysgramor. Like, what can you do? Yeah, he's just gonna weep. If he wants to weep ebony, he's gonna weep ebony. He does. He eats soup with a fork. Exactly. It's true. That's canon. A true Nord. Victory or sovereign god. Well, you know, sometimes the singular B, I surprise you. If you think Lucien's got lots of dialogue, imagine how much dialogue Joseph has. I've got so much of it in my brain. You never know when I'm going to say it. Yes, that is correct, Mazakan Prime. If you make Ysgramor into bread, he does become Ysgramor. That is a well-known alchemical process. Hey, True Wellcard, welcome to the stream. Yes, that is correct. He eats with an axe. Of course, on a bad day when he's feeling negative, he becomes Nogramor. Ysgramor and Nogramor. If he turns into a werewolf, he is Beastgramor, that is true. That's funny, Ace. Oh, those heady times at the start of the stream when I thought I might finish this patch today. How naive and optimistic I was. What a sweet summer child young Joseph was setting out on that stream, thinking, yes, I might finish it today. Thou fool. Thy hubris has punished thee. I actually have no idea what you're talking about there, Bart. I don't know what line that is. Is it to do with the secret spoiler stuff? I'll be honest, Doodlesaw, I have no idea. Don't know, haven't figured that out yet. I'll have to properly go through the Dawnguard quest line and see what's going on. Talking about the Imperial City. Oh, is it? So it's one of those secret lines talking about the Imperial City, describing it. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't write that actually. I wish I had, because it's good writing, isn't it? I wish that was my writing. It's not. That's the other person's. The other secret person who is obviously extremely talented as a writer. I wish I could claim that one. I can't. The one about Riften is me, though. It's not quite as lovely, but about the smells of Riften. That's me. When he's committed crimes, he's Geese Grimoire. Exactly. Right, so that's all those lines now done. So let's record some more. We've got 20 minutes left in the stream. Skyrim belongs to the geese. Honk. Right. Just going to do these last lines. I might do all of these in one batch. And then how many idols do we have? Oh, so many idols. Let's not look at those. If we don't look at them, we don't think about them, we don't have to do them. They become a problem for another time. I do not look so that I cannot see it. If I cannot see it, it cannot hurt me. I do not see it. It is there. It is not real. Okay. I wonder who put this bliss bug in a jar. He seems quite happy in there. Well, let's go one more take with that and I'll choose. I wonder who put this bliss bug in a jar. He seems quite happy in there. I could spend hours watching this little purple butterfly flap its wings. I wonder what this little green butterfly thinks of his glass home. I hope he likes it. Maybe we should get him some furniture. Some furniture. That's not a thing. Maybe we should get him some furniture. Some furniture. We get the furniture. We're gonna put it in the jar. We get the furniture. We put it in the jar. Okay, never mind. Okay, we start again. Right. I wonder what this little green butterfly thinks of his glass home. I hope he likes it. Maybe we should get him some furniture. I don't like the look this amber is giving me. Sort of frowny and disapproving. Reminds me of my Aunt Sylvia. That amber is most peculiar. Thank you for the sub, Mr. Video Freak. I'll turn my sound off. Right. That amber is most peculiar. Definitely rather face-like, wouldn't you say? And also, is that a hint of magicka I detect? And the faintest whiff of cheese? Let's try one more time. That amber is most peculiar. Definitely rather face-like, wouldn't you say? And also, is that a hint of magicka I detect? And my voice is too high. The whole way through this line I'm talking like this. Hello, my name's Lucien Flavius and I'm 4 years old. Let's maybe try and put some variety into the pitch a little bit. That amber is most peculiar. No, that amber is most peculiar. Sort of frowny and disapproving. Also, is that a hint of magicka I detect and the faintest whiff of cheese? My name is Lucien Flavius, and I'm here to steal your girl. That amber is most peculiar. Definitely rather face-like, wouldn't you say? And also, is that a hint of magicka I detect? And the faintest whiff of cheese? One more time, I'm still not quite happy with it. That amber is most peculiar. Definitely rather face-like, wouldn't you say? And also, is that a hint of magicka I detect? And the faintest whiff of cheese? We'll go with that. Your dark seducer friend keeps staring at me. It's making me awfully uncomfortable. Keep an eye on your dark seducer. The Mascan aren't known for their loyalty. I wish your golden saint would stop Ooh, voice crack. I wish your golden saint... I wish your golden saint would stop looking down her nose at me. Your golden saint is awfully mean for someone so... shiny. I really don't think Starder likes me. I really think Starder could do with a nice afternoon with a fire by a fire, with a fire by a fire. Let's start that again. Go back to the top. Start again. Ready? Okay. I really think Starder could do with a nice afternoon by a fire with a cup of tea and a good book. Works wonders for me when I'm that grumpy. Yay, we're done with the hellos. Hello, it's me. You guys are really enjoying the whole Ysgramor thing, aren't you? There we go. Hey, Vickle, we've only got 10 minutes left on the stream, I'm afraid, but I'm thrilled to have you back again. There's the Blissbug line. Beesgramor! It's like Ysgramor, except it's covered in bees. Hours watching this little purple butterfly flap its wings. Hours. Oh, little purple butterfly flapping its wings. Here we go, right. I wonder what this butterfly... This little butterfly thinks of its... I wonder what the butterfly thinks of its home. Number 25. Number 25. I wonder how many lines we've added for this. There's got to be a lot of lines. This is definitely our biggest Creation Club interaction by far. Are you on Rhyme Zone? You guys have to be on Rhyme Zone now. Amber is most peculiar. Now, this is the one that took us so many times. That amber. That amber. Right. Here we are. Here's our final take of that amber line. Most peculiar. That's a long line, that. Oh, wow, Nuna. Fleur de lis Cremor. Do you mean trees Grimoire there, Mazakin? I think you made a slight typo. That's golf. The golf one likes tease Grimoire. It's tease Grimoire. You tease up. We'll go with that. Your Dark Views friend keeps staring at me. It's making me awfully uncomfortable. Number 28. I'd love to see that, Morgan. Musical. I saw Grease, and I didn't really get it, but I would think it would be massively improved if it was Ysgramor as the main character. Summer loving happened so fast. Summer loving had me a blast. Invaded Skyrim with my friends from Atmora, where the snow never ends. Skyrim days drifting away. Oh ah. We fight the elves at night. The night, the night, the night of tears. Tell me more, tell me more. Did they run at your sight? Tell me more, tell me more. Did they put up a fight? They did. They did. Many of my companions were slain. I am so sad about it that I will weep tears of ebony. Thank you for the bits, Vickle. Thank you, Morgan. I'm thrilled you all enjoy this mindless drivel. Shiny. Your golden saint is awfully mean for someone so shiny. She's so shiny, but she's so nasty. She be mean. She hit me. It's not very nice. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Bum 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 bum. I really think Starter could do with a nice... Oh, crikey, Bard. Thank you so much. That's so generous of you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Right, that's all the hellos. We just need to import them and rename them, and we are good to go. I'm going to get this done. Hopefully in the last 7 minutes of the stream. Let's get this bread. Which means I don't need to wear these anymore, because they're very uncomfortable on my ears. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Druxy has just revealed themselves as a duck in disguise, or maybe 3 ducks in a trench coat. I'll be reporting you to the duck authorities. Oh, thank you so much for the sub, Rainstorm. That's just triggered a hype train. So we had one of these last week. For those of you who are interested, it's an opportunity to earn emotes if you're interested, and little badges and emotes for you to use on Twitch that are to do with a little badge of a train and various other emotes that come and go. So if you want that, then by subbing and gifting like subs and you know, donating bits or whatever at the moment will level up the hype train and get you more emotes. But if you're not fussed, please don't worry about it. There's no pressure. It's just one of those events that Twitch does. So that's what's going on. Thank you so much, Bart. That is really lovely of you. And thank you, Morgan. Thank you. That's really generous. Right. I love these little lore tidbits we have about Aunt Sylvia. She's going to turn out to be the mod's main villain. The third quest. Lucien versus Aunt Sylvia. The final reckoning. This time it's personal. Lucien Flavius, what are you doing in Skyrim? Yes, I like that, Bard. Come and meet my new husband. Well, hello there, Lucien. My name is Lord Bibliothèque. I am here to conquer Skyrim with my necromantic army of Draugr. Have you seen a thief? His name is Dave. He ran away with Lady Jennifer. I would like to hunt him down. Ooh, did something wrong there. Oh, I renamed it the wrong thing. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Ba 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 ba. Ah la 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 bamba. Ba la ba 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 bamba. Eh eh. Da fiesta. Lita ba da ba da ba bum. Ba 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 bum bum. Just over 2 minutes left on the hype train for those of you who are fussed about that. Oh, thank you, Vickle, and I love the little grey emote. Nice to see somebody using that. Thank you, that's very lovely of you. Thanks for the sub, Walking Existential Dread. That's lovely of you, thank you. Do 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 da 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 dum bum. Ba da 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 dum bum ba ba ba. Thank you, Vickle. That's just bumped us up to the next tier of the hype train, so we're now on level 3. Or working towards level 3. So that means you guys get emotes. There you go, there's that one done. And all of those lines are now recorded. Now, was there a question or something? How do you get the grey emote on Twitch? I think Vickles unlocked that for cheering a certain number of bits. I think that's a bit tier reward. Yes, it's the 25k bits reward, which is quite a few bits. But, you know, every time we hit those tiers, I do add new emotes. So, yeah, the grey emote you get at 25,000 bits, which is, as I say, a heck of a lot of bits. But, yeah. Thank you so much for the bits, Miss Catonic. Most kind of you. Thank you. Sunglasses angry, Lucian. Did you get that with the modify an emote thing? Oh, crikey, Bard. Thank you so much. That's so many bits. Thank you. Oh, and Anonymous Gifter. Thank you so much for the subs. You are lovely. Thank you all. You are very kind. That's just bumped us up to the next level of the hype train. So you get even more emotes and things. Hydrate and posture check certainly will. Oh, right. Running out of time left for the stream. But so next time, we've got to do all these idle lines. There are a lot of them. It's going to take us a while, but I'm confident we can do them in a 3-hour stream. We can do them in that time. So next time, we will finish the Saints and Seducers plugin, which, as I said earlier, probably means we're looking at a release next Saturday. So not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday I'll be releasing this so that you guys can play it. So that will be nice. It'll be nice to get that out there, and then we can start on our next interaction patch. I will be doing interaction patches in the streams for a little while going forward, because I don't like to tweak the new... Like, if I having just released 1.6.0, I can now tweak it a little bit to make it better for 1.6.1 to fix bugs. But if I'd started work on the next... on 1.7.0, I would have to... I'd have to lock that off from 1.6.1, right? Anything that's unfinished, I'd have to go in and find and lock off to make sure it doesn't play. So I prefer not to add new content to the main mod for a little while afterwards in case I have to do a patch, which is what I have to do now. So I will, therefore, in case I need to do a 1.6.2, I'll keep working on interaction patches for the foreseeable on the streams until I'll then address myself to 1.7.0 at some point in the future. Thank you so much for the sub and the bits, Vickle. You are very kind. So yeah, probably this weekend I'll release 1.6.1, which will, as I say, will be a bug fix update. Just make it all a bit more stable, fix the bugs that have been reported so far. We'll re-enable the spell toggling thing in the MCM, by the way. I know that's broken in the latest update. I will fix it. You know, I have fixed it. I fixed it on my end. I just need to release that. So in the new version, that will be fixed again. It was my own stupid fault for modifying a script and not testing it, and I should have tested it, and I was a fool. Thank you so much for the bits, Rainstorm. Very generous of you. That's just bumped us up to the next level of the hype train. Thank you. I will actually just quickly show you because it's mildly interesting for those of you who are interested. I don't know whether Dwemacog's still in the stream or not, but those of you who are interested in the behind-the-scenes whole part of the modding, there is a script. Oh, hang on, I'll do it this way. So this is an interesting thing, Dwemacog and anyone else who's interested in the latest update. Let me just bring up my script sources so I can show you. That's sources S-O-U-R-C-E, not like special barbecue sauce to put on my scripts. Oh, well, thank you, Rainstorm Wonder. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the sub, Doodlesaw. Oh, it's from Bard. Thank you, Bard. Thank you for the sub. Right, I need to try and find... Oh, it's data script source. No, source scripts. So we're not quite done yet. I was just going to explain about this new config menu issue. Well, the sound appears to still be working, so I don't know what that was. Thank you so much for the donation, Victoria. That's really lovely. Thank you. You're always so generous with those. I really appreciate it, honestly. It makes such a difference to me. Right, so I want to show you this particular script. Thank you for the bits, Miss Catonic. Thank you. So if I go, make that full screen and go screen with camera. So I've got this open in Notepad because it saves me having to reopen the main file in the ZK. But this is the MCM script for Lucien. So it requires SKSE and SkyUI to work, and it uses the existing libraries. And this is the script that controls Lucien's mod menu. I'm hoping you can see that. Oh, no, you can't. Sorry, didn't transition. There you go. Now you can see it. Here we are. Here is the MCM script. And it's called JR Lucien config menu. And this is attached to the MCM quest. But anyway, the thing that was causing the spells to be untoggleable in the new update is all the way down here. Thank you so much for the sub, Vickle. So yeah, this is the whole script which controls it. It's very long. Here's the list of all the names and indexed as well with all their numbers. And I actually had to break this up into 2 separate lists in the latest update because lists can only be 128 entries long. And we went over 128, so I had to split it into 2. But anyway, here are the toggles. So I have this function, add spell option. And we use this, so an add spell option calls the function add toggle option for the spell I pass into it. Right? Now this thing here, add toggle option, creates a new toggle option on your MCM list, which is a new toggleable thing with a little checkbox, and assigns it to a variable which you call something underscore b, and I've called it spell underscore b. And then it returns that. Right? But this is the nuance of it. You have to set your variable for spell b or whatever externally. So that int needs to be defined just as an int property. So firebolt b, flames b, frostbite b, whatever. Needs to be a separate property of the whole script. And then in your function, you need to say that lessAward b underscore equals that add spell option. Or thank you so much for the sub, Vickle. Or equals that spell option, which can be returned from a function. That's fine, which is what it is here. So add toggle option. Return spell b. And then that will, so it calls a particular spell and then saves it as a toggle option with the name of whatever name that I assign, right? You have to do it that way. In the version I shipped with version 1.6.0, I used this function instead. Add spell option 2, where I had the variable that was going to be spell b instead passed in as a spell toggle integer into the function. Do you get that? So the difference was, in the version that works, I defined the property externally, and within my main script, I said that property equals the output from this function, right? But in the version that didn't work, I had the function instead being I would just pass that property into the function and define it in the function. So those of you who are familiar with coding might start to understand why that's a problem. So what actually happens when you call a function and you pass a variable in is it makes a copy of that variable, which is defined only within the context of the function and doesn't affect things outside the function. So that means that variable, that spell flag, spell underscore b or whatever, was passed into the function and defined as that toggle option, but then that variable was thrown away. Didn't keep it, just threw it away. Because it's only when you get to the end of the function, it's done, we don't need that variable anymore. So that meant I was adding a bunch of toggle options which were no longer connected to these variables called underscore b, which meant they didn't do anything. They weren't clickable because they were nothing. They weren't connected up to a variable. They were empty. This is the problem. So I've since reverted back to the original version of the function in this new update, where I'm defining it and properly filling it, and not just temporarily within the context of the function. Took a while to fix, but that's now sorted. So in 1.6.1 that I'm hoping to release at the weekend, it'll all be sorted. Thank you so much, Vickle, and thank you, Bard, for your gift sub, and everyone who contributed towards the hype train. I really appreciate that. That was really lovely of you. Makes a huge difference to me. Now, yes, hi, Prof. Dio. I am the creator of Lucien, and I do answer questions. However, I'm out of time for today's stream. I need to go and have dinner, and my family are waiting for me. So I'm going to go and do that. Thank you all so much for watching. If you've got questions, you're very welcome to jump in next week. I stream doing these modding workshops. I stream every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday at 5 p.m. UK time. And I do these modding workshops every Thursday at 5 p.m. UK time. And that's when I'm very happy to answer any questions at all you have about modding. And about Lucien and whatever. Well, I'll always answer questions about Lucien, but these are specifically for the purpose of answering questions. So do join me. If you have that question, any questions, ask me this time next Thursday, and I'll be very happy to answer. So thank you all so much. Thank you everyone who supported me, and I really hope you're enjoying the new update, and that it's all behaving and you're having fun with it. And yeah, I will see you all on Saturday for our next Skyrim stream. So yeah, stay marvelous, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye!